Hello again, beautiful people. I am Sierra, and over here we're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about my motherhood journey. We're talking about books that I love, books that I read, books that I enjoy, books that I want to read, books that are on my radar, and I talk about creativity. So if you're interested in any of those things, you will like it over here. Welcome to those of you who are new here. I am really grateful for you for tuning into my channel. Where you found me, I don't know, but I am glad that you are here. I mean, I know you found me on YouTube, but what I'm saying is how you found me, I don't know, but I'm glad that you are here. I hope that you stick around to see all the things that are coming out this month. So this particular book video, I specifically wanted to do in the fall because I want us to fall in love with reading again. You see what I did there? Yes, I'm a little cheesy too, so you're going to get that over here. So to jump right into it, if you see something in the mirror, in the camera, if you see something in the camera over here, it's going to probably be my tea that I'm drinking. I am drinking lemon ginger with probiotics in it, and I have a lemon in here. And I am a girl who likes to keep her tea bag in her, like fully immersed in her tea as I drink it. So that brings us to all of these things, how we're going to fall in love with reading again. Every single thing, I told you I was cheesy, starts with an I. So these are the ways that you can fall in love with reading again. You can choose one of these ways and then figure out what types of books fit into that category for you. Or you can do all of these and then find out, like, this is how I can fall in love with reading again. So let's jump into it. So the first thing, let me take a sip. So the first way that we can fall in love with reading again is we can immerse ourselves in some type of book content. And what I mean by this is you can immerse yourself in reading books about something that you enjoy, someone's life that you enjoy, someone that you've seen on television, something you've seen that you're into. So for me, that book, and I prepare to be sick of me because I'm going to keep talking about this book. I'm going to keep talking about as many times as I can tell people to read this book. And you, if you've been over here for some time, you already know which book this is. It's only probably one of three books I would say. And that book for me is Viola Davis's Finding Me. Oh my goodness. This is the book that I would immerse myself in. And why I immerse myself in this and why I'm saying immerse is like you can listen to this book on audio. And I've said it and I'm going to say it again and again and again and again. This book on audio is a production. It is a production. It is something to be listened to. It is something to be enjoyed. It is something to immerse yourself in. You will not see Viola Davis the same way. Her parenting from her parents was something that I gravitated to. And I'm going to listen and read this again. Like, listen, I think they call that like tandem reading, where you listen and you read the book, parts and pieces. But I am going to go back and to read this book again. I'm not going to do it this year. I'm going to wait until next year. But for so much of my time to be spent listening to this, sitting in the window, watching the sun rise and go down. Now, I had other things to do, but at this particular time in the beginning of the year, I had a lot of time to just sit and listen. And this, oh my goodness, was a book that I fell in love with. But if this is not what it is for you, it may not be this book that you want to read. It may not be this book that you want to, it may not be this types of books that you want to immerse yourself in. But for me, reading about someone else's life and trying to grab the gems and the things that they taught and that they share from their life story and the lessons that they've learned, like, this for me is one of those books that I wanted to be immersed in. I did not realize that, but when I was coming up with ways that people can fall in love with reading again, this was one of those books that I absolutely had to share. Absolutely had to share. So that is the book number one, way number one, that you can fall in love with reading again, is immersing yourself in a story, in some type of story. So the second way that you can fall in love with reading again is to find a book around something that you're interested in. Right now, I am getting my home in order. I am getting the things, like, that's why y'all haven't seen me. It was supposed to be 1 week that I was going to be away. It has turned into 2 weeks that I have been away. The first week I was just resting and resetting, like my mind, getting clarity. And the second week, actually, we had a second hurricane within 2 weeks of each other. Wow. And so even though we were out of harm's way, my family was safe, we still needed to prepare in case they told us that, hey, your city, your state needs to evacuate. So there's that whole thing. So for me, something I'm interested in is home things. I really enjoy things about home. So I have two things that I'm interested in. I'm going to share that other book later, but two books for me are going to be this: Cooking by the Spirit, Cooking from the Spirit by Tabitha Brown. This is a cookbook. I really enjoy cooking and I'm trying to help my family. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to get my family more plant-based than what we are right now. Like, we eat a lot of vegetables, we eat a lot of fruit, we eat pretty clean, but I think my skin keeps breaking out and there keeps being like things that my body doesn't enjoy that makes my stomach hurt. And I realize that makes my stomach like sour sometimes. And so what I'm realizing is like, I would like to have clear, beautiful skin where like, that's just real, y'all. Like, that's just real. I want my skin to be immaculate. And right now we're getting there. We're getting there. Y'all probably not gonna see me for another 2 weeks once I start this peel process. But anywho, we're not here for that. This is something that I am interested in, and it is cooking. And this cookbook is easy to follow. And one of the things that I really enjoy is that she gives you like ingredients, and she gives you like the serving size and how to cook it, but she does not tell you how much. And I think that for me, I love it because I know what I want. I know how I like my food to be flavored. So this is an easy cookbook for me to follow. And this is actually a library book. So I do want to point that out. You don't always have to go to buy these books. If it's something that you're interested in and you want to get a couple of recipes and it's not something that you want to purchase at the moment, you can always go to the library. And for me, this is going to be a purchase that I make. But when I saw it at the library, I was like, absolutely, I want to check this out. So this is one of my interests. The other interest that I have is candles. If you do not know, I am a lover of candles, all things candles. I love candles I just use candles in my home to set the ambiance. I use candles in my home to help us as timers. I use candles in my home for several things. But this is one of my interests. And so I found a book on it. I actually got this at Target. And I've looked through it, but I haven't like completely sat in it. I used to follow this author when I was on Instagram. And when he wrote this book, I was like, I absolutely have to have it. And so I grabbed it for myself. I love a candle. And it's a really good thing that tells you about how candles are scented, the types of candles, why you should use candles, how to shop for candles. There's a chapter on candle care, like how to care for candles. And then there's a chapter that's called Light Up Your Life, candle suggestions, candles for wellness and self-care. If you are a person who's into candles, this is a great book to pick up. I got mine at Target. I do not know where they're all available, but I did pick mine up at Target. The third way that you can fall in love with reading again is to find an area that you want to improve, something that you want to be better at, something that you just want, if you just want to be 1% better, you can find a book on it. And usually these types of books are like self-help books. These are like self-improvement books. These are like how-to books. And for me, I want to continue to improve in my language around feelings. I want to continue to improve in my understanding of what I'm feeling and how to express it, because I want my children to know me better. And knowing me better would be also me sharing with them how I feel, what I'm thinking. I did not have a lot of language growing up around my feelings. I did not have a lot of language of telling people like how they made me feel or just saying I love you. So I want to improve in that. Me and my family do it a lot, but I still want to improve and keep improving in that area. And so I have this book. I have not read it in its entirety. It is called Atlas of the Heart. It reads like a textbook. It is really fun. I would say if you like this kind of thing, it's really fun. I'll read you one thing from this book. It says, comparison is the crush of conformity from one side, and competition from the other is trying to simultaneously fit in and stand out. Comparison says, be like everyone else, but better. And then it tells you like different parts of how she gives different stories in this book. And it tells you about different ways of how comparison can show up commonly for most people. She talks about envy, she talks about jealousy. And this book, for me, to be honest, is also something that right now I'm looking into bitterness, because a whole nother talk for another video, but I'm looking into bitterness because I think there's a little bit of bitterness that's been in my heart lately. And it's something that happened like over 5 years ago. And so I want to see what that looks like. But I also, for me, I'm not going to do it by myself. I'm going to allow God to show me how bitterness got in my heart. And I want to allow God to get that out of my heart. But for me, I want to continue to improve, because in my relationship with my feelings, in my understanding of them, just so that my kids can know me better. That's the ultimate reason. Just so my family and my friends can know me better in my expression, and that I'm more accurate with what I'm saying. Instead of saying I'm sad and I'm mad and I'm happy and I'm joyful, I can say like I am very angry right now. I am perplexed. Like, there's so many feelings that are available to us, but if we do not know those words, we can't like pinpoint them. And so for me, I want to have more language around that. So I am going to improve, and have been. I have not read this book in its entirety. I've just read it when I want to look it up. And if I'm honest, I kind of use it as like a dictionary to look up different things. I use it as a reference point. I think improvement, and when you're looking up for books for improvement, you can also be looking for something for a reference of something that you want to understand, for a reference of something that you want to improve. Okay. The next way that you can fall in love with reading again is to find books on topics that you're interested in, that you want to investigate. So I want to investigate more about home, about my decor, about how to make it feel really good in here for us, not just in this home. We look to buy a home in a couple of years, and I like our dream home built and stuff. Like, oh my goodness, y'all. So I almost did something, but oh my goodness, y'all. So I want to continue to use the space that we're in right now as practice to prepare for future years. And so that book for me is going to be something around investigation, is House Rules. This is a book, how to decorate for every home style and budget. And for me, I love that, because even though I may not use this for every home style and budget, so it can be my apartment that we're living in now, and we move to a home, because I would have practiced these things, I'll be able to take it to the next budget for our next home. This is something for me that I want to investigate. I want to know a little bit more about it. I want to know how colors go together, how drapes go together, how tile goes together. Because when I get ready to design my dream home, I want to put in things that I love. I want to, not just me, but my family. And because we have this book available to us, again, this is another library book. And so I can see if this is the book that is for me. And I can go purchase this. Cluster your collections. And so that is an idea. Layers, invite. And so that is an idea. Plant, map. So that is something in here. Let your refrigerator run around naked. That is something. Run it off and add curves. Base your space. There's so many ideas in here. Threes, please. So there's so many ideas. I love that the title says How to Decorate for Every Home, Style, and Budget. The last two books that I want to share with you are two books that are inspirational to me. I think that you can fall in love with reading by finding books that inspire you. And one of those books, if you've been here, you already know what I'm going to say. Viola Davis's book, Finding Me, that I shared with you first. The production of that was just immaculate, just spectacular. It was the audio and the book together that just makes that experience beautiful. And indeed, it is an experience. And so when I think of books that inspire me, that is the first one. But also when I say read to fall in love with reading again, of things that inspire you, I think it should be something that inspires you from the standpoint of the part of life that you're in, or it could be something that inspires you because of the type of writing. Or let's say you like cars and somebody built a car from scratch. That may be something that's inspirational to you. Let's say you're into jewelry and somebody is building a jewelry business. That may be something that inspires you. So you can find that book about jewelry. You can find a book about cars. So for me, two books that I found that are very inspirational to me is Maya Angelou's Letter to My Daughter. I got this book right after having my daughter and I really enjoyed reading it. I still have my bookmark here, and I'm going to go back and read it because it was very inspirational to me. And I think as my daughter grows older, I'll keep reading this book because this book is letters to Maya Angelou's daughter that she never had. And so it's from her life. It's stories that things she would have wanted to tell her daughter. I think anyone can read this book. If you're a mother, if you're a daughter, you're a father, you're a son, anybody can read this book. However, I really enjoy it. It is very inspirational to me. Even now, and I want to say I got this book 2016, 2017. Even now, this book is still a book that I can pick up and just read a story out of it because it's several stories. The last book is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I used to follow them on Instagram. And so I bought the book. When I saw it, I really enjoyed it. It's 4 parts. I think it's called like The Healing, The Hurting. Let me tell you. Yeah, The Hurting, The Loving, The Breaking, and The Healing are the 4 segments of the book, but they're very short. I'll read this one that I turned to. Stay strong through your pains. Grow flowers from it. You have helped me. Grow flowers out of mine, so bloom beautifully, dangerously, loudly, bloom softly. However you need, just bloom. To the reader. And they're very short. So I think this can be read in a day if you choose, but I like to read it in its segments. It's 4 segments because they're all about different things, very resonating with the person who's going through the different the different parts of healing. Excuse me. Yeah. And this was very inspirational to me as a person who wants to write. I believe I am a writer and I'm just going to have to tap into it. However, this is one of those books that was inspirational to me because not only did I follow them on Instagram, I was able to pick up a book of work that was produced. And so this is one of those books for me. They're inspirational. This was very fun to record. And let's just talk about it. I do not know who this Mr. Mister is on my shirt, but when I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness. I don't think I see a lot of art that looks like me, that looks like my husband, that looks like my family. And so I had to get this. I will have to find out who the artist is because I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. And I cannot wait until it actually gets it's cool in Florida right now, but it's not cold. Don't know if we'll get cold anytime soon. However, right now it's cool. And so this sweater is very fitting for me. I love it. But anywho, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you heard, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and come back over here to enjoy more videos. I have more to share with you. Have a few things that are coming that you should look forward to. All right, guys. See you next one. Bye.